Call me when you get home so I don't have to worry. You know I worry if I don't hear from you. I worry about the economy. I worry about my children's future. I worry about losing my job. I worry about not being good enough. I worry about being able to live comfortably after I retire. I worry about the food I'm eating and the water I'm drinking. I worry about nuclear war. The list is endless, and if we allow it, worry will consume us. Fear will eat us alive, and the life we're living will be filled with despair. So it's time to learn how to dial down the worry in our lives and dial up the joy. Welcome, everyone. It's Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer, here with you on Angel Heart Radio. When we come back, we're going to learn how to stop being a worrywart and allow your life to be filled with joy.
Angel Heart Radio programs are powerful tools for transformation, positivity, joy, and hope. They should not be used to replace your legal or medical advice. Welcome to Angel Heart Radio, where we celebrate you. We celebrate your divine connection. We celebrate your magnificence. We celebrate you as a beautiful being here on planet Earth, sharing your love and your light. We are so blessed to have amazing hosts here on Angel Heart Radio. We fan your seeds of hope and we help you to plant more. AngelHeartRadio.com is our station, and AngelLight777.com is our big sister. All the links, the series, host information, how to visit us, and really how to receive the best from Angel Heart Radio, and a whole lot more besides. Thank you for choosing to be with us on Angel Heart Radio. We're so grateful to share with you. Powered by love, Angel Heart Radio is brought to you by AngelLight777.com.
So let's get right to it. First, let's look at what worry can do for us. Well, it will, and it can, if we allow it, it will crowd out our joy, our joyous celebration, and it will invite in fear. We've got to learn how to eliminate worry and let go of fear if we are going to live lives. It's not even just living a joy-filled life. If we're going to have a productive life, we really have to learn how to let go of the worry, because worry is stopping you from living as your optimal best, as your authentic self. So when worry is in the driver's seat of your life, you can't be completely you, and the world needs the beautiful gift that you are. So let's get busy. First, let me tell you why worry is such a big deal in my mind. I'm not just making it up. You see, I grew up with a worrier. And I remember this person saying to me, "Oh, well, I'm just a worrier." And they used that expression and those words, "Oh, I'm worried about this," or "I'm worried about that," or "I'm worried about you," believing that they were showing love. Now, remember, at the time, I didn't know anything about the law of attraction, so it never occurred to me to point out that when this person kept referring to worry over and over and over again, that they were going to attract something to worry about. I didn't know anything about that, and neither did they. I didn't know that I was an empath or that I was clairaudient. I didn't even understand energy. At the time, I believed that something that represented itself as solid was truly solid. It had Yes, the atoms were moving, but they were moving more slowly, and it was never going to be able to change form into something else. It had come as a solid, and it would stay as a solid unless it was ice. Solids were solids, liquids were liquids, gaseous fumes were gas. I didn't know that energy was energy and that energy could transform. I just believed everything what it was. So even though I didn't understand, it didn't stop me from wondering. Have you ever been in that position where you're thinking to yourself, I don't understand why this is happening, but I certainly still have questions about why it is happening? So I would question myself and think, what's wrong with me? Why don't I feel safe and loved? If there's all this worry going around and they tell me that that's supposed to make me feel loved, why don't I feel safe and loved? Why don't I feel secure? I felt a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, a lot of confusion, but I didn't feel the strength and purpose of unconditional love. Everything that I participated in was for a specific purpose. You were taught that growing up. Okay, do this so you'll get this result, or so that you don't shame us in any way, or so that society will think highly of us. I don't know, just weird kind of things like that. That worried about what other people would think, not coming from that position of follow your heart. Now, I understand today that they didn't know to teach me this, so they couldn't share it with me. So I want you all to take a moment and just realize whomever you grew up with, whether it was your biological parents, whether it was a family by adoption or by choice, whoever were the caretakers in your life, it is most likely that they were only sharing with you what they knew and that they had no hostile agenda. Yes, I know there are cases of abuse, but I work with people every day. And when we dig down deep into the energetic substructure that was supporting the belief system of the custodial adults in their childhood, fear is usually the motivating factor. And fear is all that they're able to teach. So if you were abused, I'm terribly sorry. I am so sorry. That's a really tough way to grow up. Heart healing can help you heal that. I absolutely guarantee it. However, what I want you to walk away from understanding today is that it's most likely that the custodial person in your life was only doing what they knew how to do. It wasn't because you were bad, you were out of control, there was something wrong with you, or you were unwanted. It was more likely that that's all they knew and that was all they could teach. They didn't know, and neither did anyone in my growing up years. They didn't know that what we focus on expands. And I grew up in a family that didn't know that God is only love. Hell was a very important part of the religious landscape in which I grew up. God wasn't loving. God was judgmental. God was weighing your sins with your attributes to see whether you were worthy. we always make ourselves right. So, because it was comfortable for the adults in my home to believe in hell and to believe in heaven and to believe in a judgmental God, they made sure that they had supporting evidence for that so that they wouldn't have to change that belief system. They never were inspired to look more deeply at it. They just kept creating evidence to show them that they were right. So now let's take a look at what worry does and doesn't do. So the person in my life that described themselves as a worrier believed that worry really acted as preventative medicine. If you worried about something long enough and for far enough in advance, then you could take preventative steps so that the bad thing would never catch up with you. Now, sometimes that works because you start getting so proactive that you stop worrying. You stop attracting the thing that you don't want. But if you're worrying, let's say the worry was, and this was not it, but I'm just choosing this. Let's pretend that the worry in my family was that their cancer would show up in the children. And so they began this big cancer prevention diet, exercise, lifestyle. Now, if they felt that doing this preventative work was all they needed, they no longer had to be worried about cancer because they had done what they needed to do to prevent it from coming, and they had now latched on to good health as the thing that they were going to hold as the dominant thought in their mind, then they would be never needing to experience cancer to make themselves right. But if their preventative actions just made cancer loom more predominantly in their life, then they would call forth cancer in either themselves or another willing person in order to show that, yes, this thing that they feared, they had a right to fear it. That's what law of attraction does. So we've got to be so very careful. Law of attraction will only attract your most dominant thought. So that thing that you're obsessing over is the thing that you are activating and drawing toward you. So when we worry or we obsess over a bad thing, we're actually activating it and drawing it closer to us. So worry doesn't keep you safe. It really just gives you more reasons to stay anxious and worried and in a place of fear. So worry is really just comprised of anxiety and fear. It is not a loving emotion. And also, worry is never present. It's absolutely impossible to worry about what is happening at this current moment because you're in it. You're consumed by what's going on. And worry is a projection. You can't worry about the past. It already happened. You can't worry about the present. It's happening right now. And you can change what you're doing. But in this absolute present moment, this very second, I cannot be present in this moment and worry about it, because worry is the anticipation of something that is going to happen. I'm worrying about what's coming. So worry prevents you from being present. And if you've ever been in a conversation with someone who's not present, you recognize it feels really unloving They may not mean to be unloving. They may be one of the kindest people that you'll ever meet. But if they are not listening to the conversation or participating with you in the conversation, and instead they're off in their mind thinking about something else or worried about something that's going to happen, you don't feel that you've been heard or honored. So worry separates you from the people that you love. They will not feel as though you are honoring them with your presence. Worry also reinforces weaknesses, and at the same time, it destroys strengths. So let's pretend that you are really good at math, but you begin worrying that you're not going to do well in this particular class. And because you're worrying so much about not doing well, you're not very present when you're in the class and the teacher is presenting the material. Well, because you're not present when the teacher is presenting the material, when you go to do the homework, you have difficulty doing the homework because you never learned the lesson. So now you've just made your reason for worry correct. You're thinking to yourself, wow, I need to worry. See, I knew I wasn't going to be able to do this work correctly. What you really should be saying is, gee, I wasn't paying attention in class and I've got no idea what the teacher said. So I need to start paying attention and then I will know how to do it. But when we're on a worry path, what we say instead is, I knew I wasn't going to be able to do it. I was right. I'm worried I'm never going to be able to do this. And with that, you sit down to do the homework. You open the book and you realize, I don't understand any of this. You worried yourself right into truth because you were absent when the material was being presented. You were off worrying in the future. And when you opened the book to do the homework, you are not allowing yourself to be present and look at the material and use your good math brain. Now you're busy fulfilling your prophecy by saying, I knew it. I knew I'd do badly in this class. I wonder, I'm going to worry. Now I have to worry whether I'll fail. I wonder if I'm going to pass. You're continuing the worry cycle that doesn't allow you to stay present. And when you're not present, you can't do anything to break the chain, and you keep attracting the same problems, and usually larger, because we don't ever stay in the same place. And if you add worry on top of worry, you are compounding the problem. So what we want to begin doing today is learning how to begin meeting worry, which is simply fear, dressed up in a worry costume, with love. I know it sounds completely preposterous because love? Are you kidding? And I'm not. So let's go back to our example where we are worrying ourselves out of being present in math class. But halfway through math class, the little light bulb goes on and we are reminded that this behavior is not loving. So you dial back the worry and the fear, and you do your best to start listening. So maybe you didn't get all of the material, but now fast forward. You're opening your book and you're looking at the homework problems. Well, when you meet the homework situation with love, you can remind yourself that you're really good at math, that math comes easily to you, and that it may require a little extra work on your part. Perhaps you'll have to watch a tutorial or Google how to do these kinds of math problems. But when you love yourself and you acknowledge your strengths, You're pushing the worry and the fear to the side, and you're letting your strength come forward, and you can meet that problem, that math problem, with wisdom. Yes, it might take some effort. That's okay. It's perfectly okay to have to work at what you're doing. It's not okay to believe that you're not enough. I guarantee you, you are more than enough. And what we're going to do today, toward the end of the program, is we are going to do an energy transference exercise. We're going to learn a little bit more about worry and what it's doing and what it isn't doing. And then we're going to do an energy transference exercise so that we can learn how to change that energy. You need to understand how incredibly powerful you are if you're going to be successful on your spiritual journey. No one came without power. But we all have to learn how to use it. So remember, love and fear cannot coexist. One is going to win. And the reason that we want love to win is love will do 3 things for you that are extremely important. First, when we are loving ourselves, we are opening. We are much more open, which means we now have access to divine help. Love is in that highest vibrational realm. It's the realm of the divine. Fear is down there on the lowest rung of the ladder, and it actually cuts you off so you don't have access to source. And you really do feel like you're swimming all alone in a pool of sharks. You start worrying, panic, getting desperate, and you can act foolishly because you're no longer allowing yourself to be guided by the divine. You're stuck there in that fear-based place until you remember to bathe yourself with love and open once again to divine intervention, to divine guidance and wisdom. Love takes away worry's power. It takes the air out of the anxiety. Do you notice when people get panic attacks or anxiety attacks, sometimes it's hard for them to breathe? That's worry taking the air out of the person. Love restores it. Calm, love, blanketing them with unconditional love, not with judgment, just you're safe, you're loved, I'm here to help you. Let me help you move through this situation. Let's find everything we can to help you move forward. Love prepares the way for your success because when you're divinely connected, when you are plugged into Source, answers flow. It becomes so easy for you to get the help that you desire. Now, let's just do a little experiment with this. It's always better when we test out what I'm sharing with you so that you'll understand why it's so important. Because I don't want you to take my word for it. Run it through your own heart connection and see how it feels to you. It's got to ring true to you. If it doesn't, leave it alone. You can come back at any time and see if you want to change your mind, or you can stay in your place of, no, this doesn't feel good to me, and that is perfectly okay. We are where we need to be at all times. We are perfect just as we are, and we are given the incentive to grow and change and to become even more. So I want you to think back to a time when you were in school and you were going to take a test. And let's have 2 different scenarios. First, you have this test that, man, you know you've got this. Everything makes sense. It lines up. You just consistently get hundreds on every paper that you turn in about this. It's like you were born to do this work. Just take a measure of how you feel. Let's use our success scale. 0 to 10. 0, you're going to fail. 10, I've so got this. I am 100% successful. Well, since you've been getting 100s on all of your tests and getting such great feedback on how incredibly tuned into this material you are, you're going to feel like a 10. You're going to go in there on a high, and you're going to stay on that high all the way through the test, and you're going to stay connected to Source that has all the answers, and you're just going to flow it right onto the paper. You won't be sweating. You won't be anxious. You won't be desperate. Now, call up your worst subject in school. The time where you would break out in a cold sweat, where you could feel the sweat dripping down your back, trickling down your back when the teacher said, okay, it's time for fill in the blank. That's the subject that is going to really be uncomfortable for you. Might really make you feel afraid. You might feel like you're going to fail. Perhaps you've failed over and over again on the assignments that you've turned in, and yet you've studied and you've studied and you've studied, but you just don't feel confident. Get out your success scale, 0 to 10. I bet this time you're hovering near a 0. Well, I can tell you, when you go in to take that test, it's going to really require a supreme act of faith for you to get divinely connected. Unless you can get out of your own way and step into that high place of love, you're going to stay in a place of desperation because you've proved to yourself you're not good at this, and you may end up with a failing grade. That's why we want to be so clear on what we're calling into us. So, we want love for ourselves. We want to be telling ourselves when we're heading into that situation that could be challenging, that I am more than enough. I am really good at feeling my way through. I'm going to be proud of myself whether I get a great grade or not so great. I'm just proud of myself for getting in the game, for advancing myself, for doing something that will move myself forward. Stay in the place of self-love, and you will have a much easier time of accessing the divine. And don't be afraid to call out and say, God, I need your help. I am opening myself. I am laying myself bare. Help me through this. I want to keep fear at bay. Love empowers you to have a proactive relationship with the divine. Unconditional love isn't weak. It's not romantic love where we hope the other person feels the same way. Unconditional love is without judgment and ego. So it's discerning, it's certain, and it's confident. There's no ego posturing, changing who you are, trying to get people to like you. That's not unconditional love. That's romantic or ego love. God only operates in the unconditional realm. No judgment, no one way this today and another way the next day. No, changeless, faithful, always there when you call. The only requirement is that you are open to receive. So when you are in that place of unconditional love, you can make a calm assessment of the situation. And unconditional love will help you choose situations that are for the highest good. So you may decide to take that class that is really difficult because you know it's going to be for your highest good. But you can do so without worry and fear because you are staying in that self-loving place and allowing God to flow through you and give you the help that you need. It doesn't mean that you won't have to grow to rise to the challenge. It doesn't mean that you can stay small and still be everything you came here to be. You're going to grow. You're going to be challenged. You're going to have to stretch. But that's a beautiful, wonderful thing. Think how great you're going to feel once you have said yes to the challenge and succeeded. You're going to enter in with the expectation that things will work out. And that it's an easy course correct. The thing that we need to remember is nobody achieves success in a straight line. It up, down, around the corner 6 times, backward, forward. We are learning and growing all along the way. But when we stay in the place of love as opposed to fear and worry, we're able to course correct more easily. We don't become attached in an unhealthy way. We begin learning how to move from worry to peace because we have that calmness, that certainty, that faith that things are really going in the way that we want them to, even if it doesn't appear to be true at this very second. Because we know God brings our highest good forth, and God brings the most beneficial outcome. So if we say, "Ooh, I like option A," and God sees the bigger picture and realizes that option A is going to be completely annihilating in 2 days, option A is not going to work out. So you can pout, "Oh, I wanted option A," but go along with option B because in the long run, option B is going to be for your highest good. It's going to be your long-term solution. And this is what you get with love. You get long-term benefit that has required you to grow so that you are comfortable when you get to the place of benefit, and it's sustainable because you've grown into it. It doesn't just appear, it has been cultivated, and so you can feel really proud and really strong when you get there. And it gives you permission to stop worrying because you know worry is going to attract to you all the things that you don't want, and it won't prevent anything of harm from happening to you. Let me share a story with you about someone who wanted to manifest a car. This is a made-up story, so don't worry. I'm not telling tales on anyone. Let's say it's me. I wanted to manifest a car, and so I get really, really focused. I want a convertible, and I want. I see a red convertible. So for some reason it needs to be red. I want a red convertible, and I want it to be, oh gosh, I don't know car types. Okay, can't help you on the car type there, guys. This just looks to me kind of big, which is unusual for me. I usually don't like the big or long cars. Anyway, So there's this big, long convertible that I am desiring with every bone in my body. And I have created all these visual aids. Perhaps I have a dream board, and perhaps I have created a movie, a montage of this car that I am really, really wanting to bring into my life. And I've gone to the dealership, I've sat in the seat, I've taken it out for test drives, and I just become completely one with this manifestation. And I have been scheduled to give a talk in the mountains. I'm going to be speaking to a group of spiritual seekers who are on a mountain retreat. So I want to manifest this car in time to go do this speech because it's such a beautiful time of year, and I know I will just love driving with the top down and letting the wind blow through my hair, which I absolutely hate because it dries my eyes out. I can't see. But anyway, we need this car for this story. So the day of let's do it the day before. The day before, when I'm supposed to leave to go to give this speech, I am absolutely certain that this car is going to arrive in my driveway. And sure enough, I wake up and there's a text, "Oh, expect a special delivery in your driveway today." And I'm so excited. I get dressed in my most beautiful outfit because I'm going to take my car out and I just want to be looking my best. I'm so excited. I start calling my friends. "Oh, come on over. I want to take you for a ride." Doorbell rings. And here's someone holding up keys. "Welcome, here you go. You won this beautiful new car in a contest, and we're here to deliver it to you." Yay, I'm so excited. I walk outside and, oh, it's a Jeep with a hard top, a really hard top. And the guy makes sure, the delivery driver makes sure to let me know that the top has been reinforced. So it's really, really safe. But it's not pretty. It's not what I had envisioned. And it's not what I thought I wanted. However, I've been practicing staying in the space of unconditional love and being in the flow. So I let go of what I thought I wanted, and I get really excited about what's been delivered. And I text all my friends and I say, "It's here, it's here. Come on, let's take it out. It wasn't what I thought, but it must be exactly what I need because it arrived." So we go out and we have a wonderful drive. And then next day I get up and I'm on my way to the conference and I'm driving along and I'm in this mountain pass and I start hearing this rumbling. It's a noise like I've never heard before. It's really loud. I'm looking all around. I'm like, gosh, it almost sounds like a train, but there are no train tracks. What in the heck? Is it an airplane that's flying too low? I don't know. It's a sound that I can't identify. And then I start seeing rocks skittering down the mountainside. But the road which I'm on is so narrow that I have to keep moving forward. I'm thinking, what should I do? These rocks should I stop now? Should I stay here? Well, the road is too narrow. I can't turn around. I've got to wait until I get to a pull-off place so it would be safe to try to do a U-turn. And even if I were to turn around, is that going to keep me safe? So carefully I'm driving forward. And the rocks seem to be getting bigger that are rolling down the mountainside. And I'm starting to get a little anxious. But I remember to open myself up to love. I ask for protection. I know that I'm being guided because I'm staying in the place of love so I can hear that guidance and it allows me to be in the right place at the right time. So I know I will be okay. And I stay very present, drive very carefully, and then a giant rock falls on the roof of my Jeep and bounces off down the canyon on the other side. I'm shaking. It definitely shook me up, but I am extremely grateful that God delivered to my door a hardtop Jeep with a reinforced roof for safety. Now, if I had gotten what I wanted, I would have been in a red convertible, and there would have been a lot of red, as my body, my little squashed body, would be all that was in that car. So, when we worry, we place ourselves out of alignment with God. We can't receive the gifts that are being poured freely onto us, and we are not doing anything of benefit to help us. I needed that hardtop Jeep in my fictional story in order to get safely to the conference. We need those hardtop Jeeps that come into our lives that we may think we don't want in order to help us progress safely in our journey of growth. So right now, let's begin by giving ourselves permission to stop worrying and pretending that we know better than God. I, and then you would put your name, and I'll repeat it, so just listen first. I, your name, give myself the day off. Instead of worrying about what if or what might happen, I'm going to be present right now and enjoy this moment. So, repeating after me, I, your name, give myself the day off. Instead of worrying about what if or what might happen, I'm going to be present right now and enjoy this moment. So how do we enjoy this moment? Well, we've got to get busy finding good things to focus on. That may require that you need to make a list. And you can make a list on your phone, on a piece of paper, just mentally in your head. But make sure that you are really focused on all of the good things, that you are filling your mind with what you do want and not filling it full of things that you don't want, that you're worried about that they may come. Because when you're worrying, you're reviewing doom and gloom and a fear-based scenario. So fill your life with all the joy that you can find. Be actively on the lookout for it. And at the end of the day, commit to doing a daily review of everything that went right. Allow thoughts of joy to crowd out thoughts of doom. Now, if you are a overzealous worrier, you are really going to have to put some effort into this. If you really are having difficulty breaking the worry habit, or if you grew up with somebody who was extremely focused on everything that could go wrong, you may feel compelled to worry, as though it's a job, or that things won't go right unless you do worry. So you're going to have to be a little more proactive. You're going to make sure you're reviewing that list a couple of times an hour. until you get so good at focusing on what's going right and what's bringing you joy that you forget to worry. Worry wastes your energy. Stop wasting your energy. We have to reverse those thoughts of fear and call in thoughts of love. Love doesn't put more on you to do. It magnifies everything. So every effort that you're making becomes greater. So one of the things that a worrier may try to say to themselves is, oh, this is just one more thing on my to-do list. Now, instead of just being who I always was, now I have to be something different and I have to practice it. So you're just taking all of the energy that you put into worrying about what might happen and transferring it into a loving offering that you are gifting yourself and all those around you. You're actually becoming much more abundant because abundance flows from joy. Now, if you are really stuck on this worry bug, then you've got a fear problem. You have allowed your heart really to be filled up with fear. And forgive me for using the word allow. I don't know another one that is quite as appropriate. So please don't take offense, but understand it is your responsibility. I don't care if you learned it growing up. As a child, we just absorb whatever the adults around us are saying and doing and the program that they're operating from. I get it, but you're adults now. So you need to take responsibility for what you are allowing in your energetic field. And if worry has gotten a hold of your life, then you are running fear-based programs. Now, I have a couple of ways for you to begin eliminating those. I have an incredible class called Defeat the Demon of Fear. It will give you practical tips on how you can put fear to bed so that you don't have anything to worry about because you're no longer in a place of fear. Now, yes, I understand that sometimes fear is going to creep in, and sometimes it's necessary to be motivated by fear. You've become too complacent, so you need to get a little fire lit under you. That's okay. Just don't allow fear to take over your life. So go to my website. If you've got this problem, go to my website, MarciaMartinTheHeartHealer.com, Marcia spelled M-A-R-C-I-A, MarciaMartinTheHeartHealer.com, and under classes, go to Defeat the Demon of Fear. If you can't learn from a class or don't want to learn from a class and feel that you need one-on-one attention, take advantage of my Angel Breakthrough session. I offer the first 3 listeners to respond an opportunity to speak with me at no charge for 30 minutes. If you want to work with me, yes, then it will be an investment. But this would be 30 minutes of time where we look at where you are, what's holding you there, what you need to do in order to get out of your own way, and then I make sure that you feel renewed and relaxed and that you're excited about the path that you're going to take moving forward. This is all on my website. And if you just want support, if you really love being part of a community, as I do, then you'll want to look into the Healing Hearts community now on Patreon, where you can interact with me in a group setting on a weekly basis. So you'll get your questions answered, and it's a very nominal fee. Depending on how much interaction you want, it would be more of an investment, but it's affordable on every budget, and I priced it that way because I don't want to turn anyone away. So there is always an answer, and it's already been provided for you by me and through my connection to Source and the unconditional love that's flowing forth to you. Everything that you will receive when you work with me in any form is energy flowing from Source to you in as pure a stream of unconditional love as I can offer. And I am growing as well, so it gets better and better every day. But now, let's take a minute and do some energy transference. It's time that we understand how to change our energy from worry to joy, from fear to love, from anxiety to certainty. So let's close our eyes. Take a big belly breath where you're allowing your entire being to fill with oxygen. One of the first ways and the easiest way that you can combat worry is with deep breathing. Breathe in so deeply that you feel as though the breath has reached down into the deepest part of your lungs. Hold it for a few seconds and then allow it to be exhaled slowly. Deep, rhythmic breathing will do so much to dial down the feeling of anxiety. And especially if you do it with your eyes closed, you're taking away the outside interference. So eyes closed, deep, rhythmic breathing. And allow the picture in your mind to be of the oxygen flowing through every part of your body. See each one of your cells lighting up with this beautiful gift of oxygen. And then see each one of the cells responding with joy because they're receiving help. They are receiving well-being. They are receiving unconditional love from Source, because when we allow ourselves to breathe deeply and fully and completely, we move ourselves up into the high vibration of love, and then we are operating on the same plane as the divine, and that beautiful, loving vibration flows through us easily. And all of the cells rejoice. So rhythmic, deep breathing while you picture each cell receiving oxygen and unconditional love. And now allow the picture that you're seeing in your mind as you continue this beautiful, deep, rhythmic breathing to be a picture of you with certainty and confidence. See the radiant you. Each one of your cells are lighting up as this oxygen-rich blood hits them over and over and over again. So see yourself lighting up from the inside out. See yourself walking into situations with confidence and certainty. Feel the unconditional love of the divine wrapping around you. Let's create a cloak of pink and gold light, which is unconditional love. And let's allow it to be of the softest material possible. Weave it with love, and now wrap it around you and hug yourself. Feel that love that's being sent from the divine straight into your heart and then delivered out to your entire body. And now I want you to choose a situation. Choose a situation that you would normally find quite difficult. Let's pretend for this exercise, if you don't have your own situation, let's pretend that you are going into a really important meeting and you're a presenter on a panel. You're the youngest person or the least experienced person on the panel. And one of the people that you're going to be presenting to has been openly hostile to you about your ability. Now, notice I didn't say you're the youngest one on the panel. You're the least experienced, perhaps the newest one to arrive. So you've had the least opportunity to present. Doesn't mean you have less wisdom or less knowledge. You just happen to be less experienced as a presenter, and there's some hostility between you and one of the people in the group. First thing I want you to do before you go into the room is breathe deeply, oxygenate yourself fully, see yourself lighting up from the inside, see yourself as confident and certain, wrap yourself in a blanket of pink and gold light, hug yourself tightly, remind yourself how incredibly wonderful you are, and then create a blanket of pink and gold light for that person that's a little antagonistic. The only reason they're having a problem with you is some kind of fear is going on for them. They're afraid of something. So let's love them right out of that fear. Now open the door to the conference room, walk in, you're glowing, you're looking fabulous, you are in your high place. Before you go up to give your presentation, close your eyes, you can face the wall, you can go in a corner. You don't need to close your eyes in front of people if you feel that that's going to call attention to yourself. Close your eyes for just a moment. Allow yourself to center and connect. Take a deep breath. Allow yourself to glow. And from that beautiful place of certainty, present your material. And while you are doing your presentation, if you can remember, establish a heart connection with the audience, and especially with the person that has become, for whatever reason of their own, has become hostile toward you. Just establish a love, an unconditional love, heart-based connection with everyone that you're presenting to. Get out of the mind base and into the heart base. Allow the heart to be the podium from which you speak. Come with full resonance of the heart and give your presentation. And it doesn't matter what you're talking about, because you can fill the energetic space with unconditional love, whether you are talking about spiritual-based principles or physics or the driest, most least interesting subject material on the planet. Your being of unconditional love will infuse the material that you're presenting with that love. So instead of worrying about any situation that you're going to be going into, close your eyes, Breathe deeply, allowing this oxygen to go to the furthest depths of your lungs so you're really fully filling the lungs. Expand them as far as you can. Hold the breath, not to the point of discomfort. Just hold the breath for a moment. Exhale slowly, being completely present. And see your cells receiving the oxygen and feeling renewed well-being. Wrap yourself in your cloak of pink and gold light, hugging to yourself the knowledge that you are loved and perfect just as you are. And then connect fully with your source and allow that energy of love to flow from you. You have entered into the place of perfect connectivity and well-being, and any task you do from this place will prosper. It doesn't matter what it is that you're trying to do, whether it is simply running errands around town or giving a presentation to a professional group. It doesn't matter. Do it with full presence, with a deeply oxygenated body that is truly filled with well-being, that is wrapped in unconditional love, and that is connected with the divine. And you will make a powerful, positive impact on everyone you encounter. And that is the easiest and the most effective way that you can replace worry, fear, and anxiety with love, confidence, certainty, trust. You're stepping into a place of knowing and out of the place of wishful thinking. I want you certain. I want you powerful. I want you filled to overflowing with unconditional love. Deep breath and fill up. Connect fully from the heart. Wrap yourself in robes of unconditional love and go forth beaming, because you are magnificent. And until next Sunday, I'm sending you all my love.
You've been listening to another fabulous program on Angel Heart Radio. Our goal is to remind you of how much you matter in the world and to let you know that we appreciate who you are in the world. You can check out who's on, when we're on, and who our guests are at angelheartradio.com. Everything is there. It's all just one click away. Angel Heart Radio programs are powerful tools to help you in your life and your life experience. They are not intended, nor should they, be used to replace your medical or legal advice. The views expressed by hosts, co-hosts, callers, guests, and associates should not be construed as advice from Angel Heart Radio.